Hey everyone, this is Lori. It's been a little while since I've created a video about a new book. In fact, it's been over a year, but I'm really excited to come to you today to tell you about a new book that I'm involved in. It's an anthology of 8 separate novellas that are all tied around one common theme, or one common object, I should say. It's the Sullivans Lighthouse, which is called Charleston Light. It sits in the Charleston harbor and it protects the harbor from ships, being where they're not supposed to be. The book itself is called Charleston Light, Stories Inspired by Sullivans Island Lighthouse. And let me just tell you a little bit about how I came to get involved with this particular anthology. 3 years ago, I joined American Christian Fiction Writers, and I attended a meeting so that of people who were in the low country of South Carolina, because we did not have our own chapter in that part of the state. The closest chapter to attend, a local chapter of ACFW was like 4 hours away. And of course, I wasn't going to join that. So I got pulled into the idea of having a local chapter and in the low country, and I signed on to be president. So for the last 3 years, I was president of the South Carolina Low Country chapter, and together with my board and with my initial members, we chartered this new chapter. And we have a really fantastic group. And last year we wanted to do something special. We wanted to do something fun together. And we decided, we came up with this idea of doing an anthology. So there's 8 of us that have contributed novellas, and it will be one published book of all 8 stories. But when we were still in the planning stages, we're like, okay, well, most anthologies all have the same type of stories, same genre, and our stories are all over the board. There's some romance, there's contemporary, there's historical, there's time travel, there's suspense, there's paranormal. So what is it that is going to tie this anthology of stories together? So we didn't have to look too far before we realized that very close by in Sullivans Island, South Carolina, is a lighthouse. Okay, it's called Charleston Light. It's the Sullivans Island Lighthouse. When you think of lighthouses, you think of beautiful, scenic, gorgeous buildings that guide, ships in safely, that you can, maybe put a picture on your wall. It's that pretty. The Charleston Light is not like that. It is, first of all, it's triangular. It's not spherical. And it was built in 1962 by the U.S. Coast Guard. So it had a pretty low budget. It doesn't have like the circular stairway that leads up into most lighthouses. It has an elevator. It's not exactly a romantic device. But there was a lot with that lighthouse based on its history, its look, its purpose, what it does every day, that we felt gave us inspiration to write some stories. So I'll just tell you that all 8 stories are like really intriguing and fascinating. But I'll just tell you just a tiny bit about my story. It's called Looks Aren't Everything. And I call it a modern day retelling of the favorite Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, The Ugly Duckling. And it's basically, the theme is that looks aren't everything. Everybody has the outside, but it's really the beauty that comes from within that, adds your value. So the story is about Wanda Bird, who is a pediatric nurse in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And she is at work one day and she calls in a patient, a 10-year-old girl named Kendall. And she notices right away that Kendall is bald and she has a scar on her head. And that's why, of course, she's there at the pediatrics office. She's already had her surgery at St. Jude's in Memphis, and now, she's treating for this cancer that she had. Well, little does anyone know that underneath all her hair that's been growing for the last 20-some years, Wanda has a similar scar, because Wanda is a patient or a cancer recovery, a cancer survivor, just like Kendall. So the two of them strike up a very close friendship. And, but because of Wanda's experience, like she missed a lot of her growing up years being kind of hidden underneath this scar and the sickness and the illness and the recovery. She didn't really get to know boys and develop in a romantic relationship the way most girls her age had. So she's just very uncomfortable and unconfident around men. But when Kendall asks her to go on a field trip with her to help her with a school assignment to write an essay about the Charleston Light Lighthouse, she, gladly goes along. And then she realizes that Kendall's Uncle Mark is also attending. And he is a really good-looking, confident, really nice, fun-loving, outgoing person. And by meeting and getting to know Uncle Mark, she realizes that the looks from the outside aren't always what someone is like on the inside. And it's really not, it doesn't really matter what your outside appearance is. It's what's inside that counts. So it's just a short novella that I think that you'll enjoy and make you feel good. It'll be a heartwarming thing to make you feel good. So what I want you to do is to get the anthology. It's available in paperback and ebook, and read all 8 of them. And then let me know what you think of not just mine, but all of the stories in the anthology. The other really great thing about the anthology that we wanted to announce was that all proceeds earned from the sale of this book will go to a local Charleston, South Carolina organization, a nonprofit organization called SOUL, which is Sanctuary of Unborn Life. It is a wonderful, wonderful organization that helps women who are pregnant or new mothers who don't have the facilities or the capacity to, maybe they need a place to stay. Maybe they need help with counseling. Maybe they need help with learning how to be a mother. SOUL provides all that, as well as, food and counseling. It's just a absolute wonderful place, heaven on earth for angels to help our new mothers and pregnant women who just don't have those facilities to be confident and help themselves in their pregnancy or their new motherhood. One of our chapter members and also one of our anthology contributors is Diane Miley, who was the founder of SOUL back when it started, and she's still on the board of directors. And so she is absolutely thrilled that as a chapter and as a group of anthology contributors that we've decided to help her labor of love SOUL in any way that we can. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well. Okay, well, I've been talking long enough and I want to end it here, but I do hope that, number one, you will get a hold of the book and read it. And number two, take a look at the SOUL website and see what it is that your purchase of this book is supporting. Okay? All right. You have a great day and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.